Okay, everybody. So your Tuesday assignment is a packet that you received. It was 3 pages, 3 separate pages, and you are supposed to cut it out, glue it together, and do some examples on the back page. But we're going to talk about it. I had some people ask me to make a video or explain it. So this is what your end product should look like. You can color it, you should glue it, you can staple it if you want to, I don't care. But also coloring is fun, so feel free to color after you do your examples. But yes, so this is just a little tool that's going to help you review lessons 3 through 5. So each little tab pulls back and it gives you the rules written out in X, Y's, and M and M's. Those M and M's are supposed to be standing for numbers. So typically if we have X to a power, it's like X to the second. So those M's or N's could be 2's, 3's, 4's, whichever. Okay, so your paper, your first paper looks like this. So this just labels each different rule. Okay. So this is our second page. Okay. So you have to make sure that you line up your top with the bottom correctly. So you're going to take this, cut it out of your paper, and set it right on top of this. Okay. So what you should have is, I'll help you line it up. Line up your power of a product rule and power of a quotient rule right over top of this x, y in parentheses to the m power and this x over y to the m power in parentheses. Line it up right over top of that and your wheel will be matching your rules correctly. Okay, so these middle two, I'm circling with my little cursor hand. These two is the power of a product and power of a quotient. So this is a skill that we just talked about in our examples. So say you have xy to the second power. Okay, we knew that we had to take x to the second power and y to the second power. Some examples that we worked on with that was 3x to the second power. Right? We knew that 3 had to be taken to the second power and x. Okay? This quotient rule is the same type of thing. You have to take the power to the top and the bottom, which is what they have displayed over here. So those are 2 rules that we kind of just practice with all of our worksheets. Okay, your first one, it's right here. And it's on this left place. This is called the power rule. This was 1.4. We talked about power to a power. So this is this m to the nth power. If we use numbers, we could say 2 to the third power. What we would do is take our base and just do 2 times 3, and that would give us x to the 6th power. Okay, we worked on that in class together. We did a whole worksheet. And on the bottom of that worksheet, we went down here and we talked about negative exponents. So with negative exponents, that is our negative exponents rule. So with that, all we did was flip the base of the exponent to the bottom, make it positive, put it under 1. Okay, a lot of you did perfectly fine with that on our exit slip, which was awesome. We also talked about in lesson 5 in our video, anything to the 0 power equals 1. So that's that bottom rule in the middle. So it should be lined up with 0 exponent rule. And you have x to the 0 power equals 1. Anything to the 0 power equals 1. Without a doubt. Okay, if we go over to the right, another one, this is the quotient rule. Okay, quotients are found when you divide. So there's this little fraction bar. We have x to the n power over x to the n. we subtract our exponents when we do that. Okay, so if we had x to the 4th over x to the 2nd, 4 minus 2 would give us x to the 2nd power. And then above that, we have our product rule. So our product rule is when we're multiplying two monomials, okay, and we take our base, our same base x, and then we just add our exponents. Okay, this was on page 27. This is what you guys should have worked on at home the week before, was this product rule. And you also worked on the quotient rule on that day too. So on your sheet, you have, we don't want this one, we want this one. You have multiple examples for each rule. So if you glue these together correctly, you'll be able to pull up the rule tab that gives you your generic rule, what you do. And then when you pull that up, you have an example that I wrote on your paper for you. Okay, and in that example, I want you to complete that example. If you would like to write it in pencil, and then we can talk about it in class when you guys come back, and we can make sure all of them are correct, that would be awesome. Okay, because this is your little tool that you're going to study with and try to remember stuff with. Okay, so each example that you have, I want you to have it completed. I think I labeled some 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So those are the ones that you are required to do. Okay, so again, just follow your rules. If you're doing the power rule, you're multiplying your exponents, right? If you're doing your product rule, where you're multiplying, you're actually going to add your exponents. Okay. And if we're dividing with this fraction bar here, we're going to subtract those exponents. All right, that's all I have for this video. Color it, make sure you glue it all together or staple it together, and have your rules lined up. Okay, awesome. All right, so I'll see you in class.